and welcome to a new Energy Crew podcast. I'm your host, JP Warren. I want to thank everyone out there for tuning in. Today, we are recording this on a Saturday after a busy week in Houston. We had the FRAC conference in Houston, then we had the February meetup of Exec Crew, which is our mastermind development program, on Wednesday. Then we had NAPE, and that was just nonstop. Then it was daddy-daughter dance. And then we wrapped it up this morning with a little basketball game, watching them win. And my daughter scored a goal, so I'm very proud about that. And I think today what we're going to be talking about is control. Just the concept of control and the false reality on control and what it does in our lives. But before we begin, I want to say that this podcast is brought to you by Exec Crew. Exec Crew is a mastermind group. It is an executive development program that we've launched, and currently our first group is full, and we are looking forward to launching our second group. It's going to be limited membership, and we're going to be introducing a new way for more people to get involved on a regular basis. So if you're interested in learning about a mastermind development program that's looking out for you, looking how to support you and elevate you to get out of your traditional ways and to elevate your networks, knowledge, and yourself, head over to info@connectioncrew.com to find out more information. And also Crew Club. Crew Club is our operator, producer, focused network and events. These are invitational only. We bring in people together for some genuine connections, some upstream industry insight, and as well giving back to the community at the charity of choice. We got a lot of great topics to go over this season, and we're excited about where that's going. If you're looking to get involved in that or just to learn what's going around the table, we have a newsletter called Crew Club Behind the Drawworks, and you can check that out. You find that through our, I guess, just find out where to find that. Anyway, it's our newsletter. Kind of talks about what we talked about around the table at our Crew Club event. So let's get into our topic today. And when I started kind of doing these solo episodes, these solo podcasts, I try to structure and I try to follow a structure. I think though that adds distress to me. I try to control what I talk about. And when I do that, I just tack on more, I guess, stress and anxiety. So in reality, what I do for these shows, I kind of have a thought, I have a goal, and really kind of an outcome of what I want to communicate out there to the listeners out there. And I try to just kind of stay in those frames. And if we go on a tangent, we go on a tangent. Try not to be too hard on myself about that. So again, this is control. And this is kind of a topic that's been brought up a lot recently in my life, whether it's through conversations with other founders and executives at Exec Crew, whether it's dealings in my own life, dealing with people around me in my own life, or outcomes in my own life. What can I control, or why is this person getting to me? Why am I allowing myself to be so upset and so agitated by something that's kind of outside my control? And pretty much the goal of this, the premise of this, is kind of how much are we actually trying to control? How much energy and effort are we actually trying to control, and how much does that get turned into anxiety and kind of the feeling that we don't have control? It's like the more we try to have that control, the more we kind of let it loose through our fingers. And that brings so much anxiety to not just entrepreneurs or founders, just kind of everyone in all walks of life. And I think, the end goal of this is kind of it's awareness. It's awareness and understanding, and also giving yourself a little bit of grace and kind of reframing your thoughts. Because again, we're going to get into that's one of only two things that you can control. So let's dive into this. All right. Let's dive into this kind of a little bit more. All right. So I guess talking about control, I mean, I'm guilty of this starting my entrepreneurial career. It's, you have this destination, this end goal in mind, and you have, whether it's a single event that you want to kind of go off without a hitch, or it's something where you want to be, this destination anxiety that pops up. If only I had this, I'd be happy. If only I had this, I'd be satisfied and content. And through that, it's where you try to control every aspect of your journey, every aspect, every event, every single transaction that occurs. However, that's just not the reality. I have found myself so stressed out about, who comes. So Crew Club is, we host networking events, and a lot of times people's schedules change, and, they can't make the events, or like you stress so much on trying to control other people's actions. I'm trying to control people coming to this event. I'm trying to control if this person that I sent an email to will come to the event. And to me, that's just kind of, I've realized I'm shifting my perception. That's the wrong way to go about it. So rather than deal with this anxiety of, stressing me out, of keeping me up at night on who's coming to the events, on how it's going to turn out, how this is going to go. It's one of those things where I start kind of getting wrapped up in this world, this mental struggle of what I can control and the outcome and all that. And it just kind of spins me deeper and deeper, this tailspin. So you have to take a step back and pause and really think, what can I control in this situation? I can't control people showing up. I can't control the conversation. I can't control what's going to happen in 2 weeks. But what I can control is myself leading up to that, my actions leading up to that event. So I can plan it. I can schedule it. I can set it. I can do the content, do the graphics, communicate to the attendees, talk about who's coming. I can control my communication and my vision on how that's going to go. And that's kind of it. I can't control anything else. Once I realize that, you can relinquish the control. And again, I think the word is kind of be overused here, but that's the whole point of this podcast. It kind of gives you a sense of not just a little bit of calmness, but also empowerment. We got to a point at the end of Q4 with Crew Club. And I was kind of at the point with Crew Club where it was kind of, we did 125, 126 events. Don't get me wrong, they were still excellent. I was still connecting with a lot of people, a lot of good stories going around the table, a lot of good knowledge. However, for me, it just kind of was getting redundant. I was kind of being a product of my own system that I set up. I was out of control of, I don't really want to change it. So at the end of Q4, we had two choices. Number one, we can let this kind of fizzle out naturally and say it was a good ride on to the next thing. Or number two, what can I do what can I control to increase the value of Crew Club? And again, it was one of those things where, I wasn't getting a lot of, crew members. I wasn't getting, I guess, what I expected, crew members re-signing or people coming in and sponsoring. So it was, instead of shifting on trying to control people signing up, I controlled what I was putting out. I controlled my product. I controlled what I was trying to offer my customers and the people that attend the events. And through that focus, through that relinquishing of control, of relinquishing of people signing up, relinquishing of who's going to come, is this going to grow? I shifted all that energy. I shifted all that energy and effort into the things that I could control. I can control how I wanted it to feel, how I wanted it to look. I can control the value that I'm creating, which is, okay, let's get some topics going. Let's organize this a little bit more. Let's make this a little bit more professional. Let's put more structure to this. So that's what I did. And literally, just through that focus of kind of shutting out the surrounding environment and shutting out my expectations of what I wanted or what I was expecting to happen at the table, I just focused on what I could control, what I could put into that, my time, energy, and effort, my little TLC, if you will. And it's been such a lesson to me to be okay not worrying about the destination. It's more worrying about what the product I'm putting out, what's the value, what's the experience that I'm putting out there with Crew Club. And through that, the focus and through what I'm doing, it's blossomed into something beautiful. It's something that's kind of it's transcended what previous events, previous experiences, because now I'm taking the reins of the outcome. I'm not allowing other people to dictate how I feel or my approach to the outcome. So again, what can you control? I mean, a lot of us, we get real bugged out on whether it's, coworkers, bosses, ex-spouses, people's perceptions. How are they going to perceive when I go in there? How is this presentation going to land with this group? How is this pitch going to go with this company? How is this person going to perceive my performance? There's a lot of a lot of anxiety that goes behind this, that goes behind control. What's the destination? What's the result from all my effort? What's the result? Are people going to like it? Is the target audience going to love it? There's a lot of stuff. And this is kind of going into, this is a perfect time this year because it's election year. There's a lot of stuff that is outside of our control that we constantly consume, shove in our faces, shove in our eyes, and distract us, take away from our current surroundings. Whether it's social media, whether it's scrolling and getting involved in the political mudslinging and the jargon, the opinions, people's opinions. I mean, people get so worked up on trying to control other people's opinions or outlooks and how they live their lives and all that stuff. You cannot control that. That's futile control. That's trying to convince someone that their favorite color is green instead of purple. What else? You see this a lot with the older generation, the younger generation. Oh, the things that you control is really involves two things. Okay, at the end of the day, and it's so funny. We get so worked up on things that we can't control, and why do we do that? Why do we try to focus on things that we can control as humans? I think a big portion of that is number one, safety. As humans, we want to know what the outcome is when we go into the meeting, we go into the cave, when we go into whatever environment that we're facing, we want to know the outcome. So it's a sense of safety for us to want to have that control, which again is illusion. It's a thing of predictability. We like knowing the predictable outcome of a situation. We like knowing what to expect out of something, and all that I think is a way to kind of protect us, is a way to kind of keep us in our comfort zone. It's a way to kind of honestly kind of live in our own turmoil up here in our heads to try to get to that end goal, that situation that we're going for. So in reality, there's only two things that you really can control. And this is something that it's not one of those things that you have that aha and it dawns on you moment, you just keep moving forward. It's one of those things where it does take constant practice. It does take constant self-awareness and reflection. Usually, when you do start noticing little trigger points, when you start getting frustrated or you start getting kind of bent out of shape or a lot of anxiety hitting you, and really, it's okay once you start kind of going through these motions. You have these trigger points. It's to disconnect, to start understanding. Okay, well, I'm in a situation now where I'm trying to control something that is outside my control. And also, just because you don't have control, I want to say this, it's pretty empowering that you don't have control, because you begin to realize what you do have power over. And that's number one, your actions. You control what you do, when you do it, and how you do it. Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's really no, I mean, whether it's getting up and going to the gym, you control that if you're trying to lose weight. Whether it's a presentation, you're worried about, how the board's going to think or how your team's going to think. Well, you control the prep work. You control what that presentation looks like, and you control you preparing for that. So at the end of the day, you put your time, energy, and effort in that, and you have to kind of just trust that process. However, that's going to result. That's going to happen. However, you're controlling your actions leading up to that meeting. You're controlling your actions and how you respond, and honestly, how you don't respond to people. There's a lot of times that people kind of come in our lives and literally just trying to make things difficult, and you feel like you have to prove yourself right, or it's like, oh my God, this person's so illogical. Let me try to kind of combat them with a little reason, all that stuff, to be right, to feel like I'm right, to win, to change their perception. But that's your controls and your actions. Like, I don't need to engage in that. I don't need to respond to that. I can focus my actions on something else, something bigger, something better, and not get lost in the weeds. All right. If you And another thing that we control, the second thing that we control. So the first thing is actions, and the second thing is perceptions. We control what goes on up our head and how we perceive things. Again, this is it's anything from a troubled coworker. It's anything from a friend to an ex-spouse, to anything like that. We can control our perceptions about kind of a situation real briefly. It's all about reframing. It really is. There's several situations, when I went from, crew club, exec crew, all these different things where I was trying to control the outcome of things, what people thought of it, what people believed in it. And my action was, okay, well, I can pour myself into kind of prepping what this program looks like, these modules, what I want it to feel like. I can go into controlling the graphics, the content, the story behind everything, the branding behind everything. And I can control perceptions. A little bit difficult because my perception is based off other people's perceptions. But at the same time, if I'm the audience, if I'm viewing myself as a third party member of these organizations, am I getting out what I would want my customers to get out of it? And previously, yes, but I felt like I could do better. And so through knowing what I control, what I can't control, I'm actually pouring myself into now of just really kind of getting rid of the noise, getting rid of the external noise of the commotion of what are they going to think? How's it going to be perceived by the industry? What are the people that attend? How are they going to think? What are the sponsors going to? So now it's okay. Well, I'm going to kind of amp this up for everyone in the room. That would be a great experience, even if you came in to participate or you did not. So, yeah, I think let me just see what else we got. I had a conversation, just kind of wrap this up, and I think this is a good test for anyone out there, and just to kind of understand when it comes to control. So I don't know what everyone out there, their morning routine looks like, but I have noticed something. And this is just kind of maybe something for you to take out there, you to take home. Maybe it's a test for you to try this week or whatever. So again, one thing that I ask you to do, okay, so some take home stuff as you're listening to this. One thing I ask you to do is when you do start kind of having that anxiety about a goal or an outcome, whatever that looks like, or a situation in your life, stop, feel it, understand yourself. Okay, well, I'm having some anxiety. Where is that coming from? And if you notice that is from a lack of control, or it's an outcome that you don't really have control over, but you're just wishing, really, really hoping, stop yourself. Understand, okay, there's a lot of stuff here that that I don't have the power to control, but what can I really shift my focus on? That's my actions, and that's my perception, and that's my attitude on how I'm going to approach this. I'm going to be either going to be nervous, scared, and hesitant, and really kind of honestly self-sabotage, maybe procrastinate a little bit, because this is a big item or task list in your path that you need to accomplish. So yeah, I think it's pausing there. So anyway, so I was talking to a buddy of mine, a fellow exec crew member last night. I saw him at the daddy-daughter dance, and we were kind of talking and about control. And it was one of those things that we both started kind of, we both every morning we try to start and read some daily stoic. We try to start our mornings with control. And I was having the conversation with him. It's like, whenever I wake up in the morning and I set my day with intention, if I wake up and I'm just like, okay, well, I have an hour, I'm going to take 30 minutes to journal. I'm going to take 30 minutes to meditate, 30 minutes to yoga, whatever that looks like, whatever that 30 minutes is for me to prepare my day, to get my mind right for the day. It feels like I'm in control of my day. It feels like any external thing that comes out, I'm in control of that. And that was very interesting, because we were talking and I said, there's also some days where it's like I kind of get up and I have to get on the computer and send that email, or I have to follow up with this person first thing out of the gate. And rather than me control my mornings, control my intention of what I want to do, the day controls me. It pulls me along. I get wrapped up in it. I get caught in that riptide that pulls me out in the day, and where I feel hectic. I feel kind of a lot of anxiety. I kind of feel like things are kind of spinning outside of my realm, outside of my wheelhouse, outside of my control. So I thought it was so interesting. Again, the test and the challenge out there for you right now is to say, hey, look, let's try to start first off identifying whenever we do have that lack of control feeling. But let's try to start controlling maybe an hour of our mornings. If we have to wake up, 30 minutes or an hour earlier, or whatever that looks like, or maybe we skip the morning news on the TV, because again, that's all the stuff that we can't control. But if we kind of focus just on ourselves, set our day with the right intentions, kind of control our morning, control what we want to do, control our tasks, control our perception about the day, then we can control our actions and tackle the day. And I have a feeling, and I have a bet that if you start controlling your mornings, you will be in control of your day. However, if you let your morning slip away, your day will be in control of you, and that's a tough feeling. So I want to thank everyone out there for tuning into Energy Crew Podcast. If you're enjoying it, please like, subscribe, check it out, check more previous episodes out. We're releasing a lot of these little tidbits to kind of help people navigate the new year and themselves, and try to elevate themselves kind of from the historic traditional ways, the ruts that we kind of get into. So again, seize your day, carpe diem, but you take control of it. And I want to thank everyone out there. And again, check out Exec Crew, check out Crew Club if you're looking to elevate your connections, your networks. I want to thank again y'all out there. Please like, share, tag, talk about it, and keep sending me those messages. That keeps me going. So thank y'all, and we'll see y'all soon.